Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Vikas Jain from BS Anangpuria Institute of Pharmacy, Faridabad. Today we are going to discuss about a module on excipients under paper product development. The purpose or the learning objective of this particular modules are the purpose of adding excipients in a dosage form, classification of pharmaceutical excipients, about organoleptic agents and stabilizer, and selection of excipients for a dosage form. Merriam-Webster defines excipient as an inert substance which serve as a vehicle for drug. According to National Formulary, excipient is any component other than the active substance which is intentionally added to the dosage form. The International Pharmaceutical Excipient Council, established in 1991, defines excipients as any substance other than the drugs or prodrug which is included in the dosage form after prior safety evaluation. Objectives of excipient in formulation. It aid in processing of dosage form during manufacturing, abet in product identification, it enhances drug product stability and bioavailability, it helps drug to maintain appropriate polymorphic form, liquid products pH and osmolarity could be maintained. It also ensures stability of dosage forms on storage or use, preventing its aggregation and dissociation. Furthermore, the immunogenic response of active ingredient could also be modulated by the excipients as adjuvants. Excipients contribute greater than 70% of the formulation. In general, a single excipient cannot satisfy all the attributes of the dosage form. Thus, a compromise has to be made for the different requirement. They either interact with the active ingredient in the dosage form or provide a matrix which affects the essential characteristic of a drug involving its solubility, safety, stability and bioavailability. According to United States Pharmacopoeia National Formulary, excipients are of two types: compendial excipients and non-compendial excipients. Compendial excipients are preferred excipients for pharmaceutical use with a well-characterized monograph in USP-NF. Non-compendial excipients are supported by Type 4 Drug Master File (DMFs) in regulatory dossiers, which include new drug applications, abbreviated new drug applications, investigational new drug applications, that is known as INDA. For excipients with toxicity issue, the information about their maximum allowable amount in the formulation can be obtained from the manufacturers or from Food Chemicals Codex, Code of Federal Regulation, that is CFR, FDA Inactive Ingredient Guide. Further list of generally regarded as safe GRAS food ingredients is given in 21 CFR parts 182 and 184. Based on their source of origin, it can be of natural source or synthetic source. The first part is plant, from which gums, alginate, pectin, starch are obtained. From animal origin, lanolin, beeswax and gelatin is obtained. From mineral origin, talcum, bentonite and paraffin is obtained. From synthetic origin, boric acid, polyethylene glycol and sorbitol can be prepared. The second class is based on their chemical nature: waxes, alcohols, glyceride, ethers, hydrocarbons and carbohydrates. Next category is based on their application, that is, first, organoleptic compliance, that includes color, flavors and sweeteners. Stabilizers include preservatives, antioxidants, buffers and cryoprotectants. Dose accuracy includes amount of diluent, bulking agent or addition of fillers. Processing aid, that includes binder, lubricant, glidant, antiadherent, and that monitors drug release, that include disintegrant, coating agent, penetration enhancers. Based on the type of dosage form, in solid dosage form, diluents, binders, disintegrants, lubricants or glidants or anti-adherents. Usually, the dose of API is small and thus an inert substance needs to be added to increase the bulk of the formulation so as to make it easier for compression during manufacturing operation. Several types of diluents are available such as microcrystalline cellulose, starch, mannitol, kaolin, calcium sulfate, etc. Binders are the agents which impart cohesiveness to the dosage form and ensure they remain intact after compaction. Further improves the free-flowing ability due to formation of granules of appropriate size and hardness. Some of the frequently used binders include natural and synthetic gums, starch, gelatin, carboxymethylcellulose, polyvinyl pyrrolidone, maltodextrin, etc. Alcohols and water are not originally regarded as binder, but since they produce solvent action on some components such as lactose or starch, which change them to granules, disintegrants are added to promote the penetration of moisture in the matrix of the dosage form, resulting in its dispersion in dissolution fluids. Some of the frequently used disintegrants include cellulose, cross-linked polymers, starches, gums, algenes, clays. Glidant and lubricants are the substances which improve the flow properties of the powder. Lubricants are substances which serve multiple purposes in the tablet manufacturing, prevent material from being adhered to the surface of the punches and dies, interparticle friction reduction, facilitates tablet to eject from the die cavity, and also improves the flow characteristics of granules. Examples of some lubricants includes stearic acid, calcium stearate, magnesium stearate, talc, and polyethylene glycol, etc. For coating solid dosage form, first category is for sustained release. In this category, sustained release matrix, sustained release film coating, and precipitates are incorporated. Under the category of film formers, enteric and non-enteric film formers are incorporated. Plasticizers and opaquant extenders are also incorporated. In liquid dosage form, two categories are available: monophasic liquids and biphasic liquids. For monophasic liquid forms, solubilizers, complexing agents, solvents or co-solvents, and anti-foaming agents are incorporated. In case of biphasic systems, first in surfactants, anionic type, non-ionic type, and ampholytic type of surfactants are incorporated. Apart from surfactant, wetting agents, suspending agents, flocculating agents, auxiliary emulsifiers like hydrophilic colloids and finely divided solids, and viscosity modifiers are included. For semi-solid dosage forms, different excipients are incorporated. The first category is vehicles or bases. Under this category, oleaginous type, absorption type, water soluble type, and water removable type bases are incorporated. The second category is structure forming agents. Third one is penetration enhancers. Next is emollients, and last one is gelling agents. Gelling agents could be acyclic based, cellulose based, or natural based agents. In case of suppository bases, fatty or oleaginous bases can be incorporated, water soluble bases can be incorporated, as well as hydrogels also form a part of suppository base. For novel drug delivery system, on the basis of different parameters, the excipients are classified. The first basis is the source of availability. Under this category, natural polymers, semi-synthetic polymers, and synthetic polymers are included. Second category, based on linking pattern of monomers, linear polymers, branched polymers, and cross-linked polymers are included. Based on the mode of polymerization, homopolymer and copolymer, addition polymers, and condensation polymers are included. Copolymers could be random copolymer, block copolymer, alternating copolymer, and Kraft copolymer. On the basis of polymer water interaction, the different categories are hydrophilic polymers, hydrophobic polymers, and hydrogels. On the basis of degradation profile, these are biodegradable polymers and non-biodegradable polymers. Based on the molecular forces present, they could be thermoplastic polymers or thermosetting polymers. Based on the responsiveness towards stimuli, they could be pH-sensitive polymers that respond to different changes in pH, thermoresponsive polymers responsible for temperature changes, electrosensitive polymers change in electrochemical gradient, and photoresponsive polymers that are sensitive to light. Under category of organoleptic agents, coloring agent is an important excipient. It do not possess any direct therapeutic effect but produce a psychological effect to the patient. Product identification during manufacturing process can also be made easy. It also helps many patients to recognize the drug strength. Coloring agent are grouped into two classes, natural and synthetic. Natural coloring agent can be of animal, plant or mineral origin. Natural coloring agent that obtained from animals include snail and cochineal that provides snail provides 6,6-dibromo indigo, that is Tyrian purple, and cochineal provides carminic acid, that is bright red in color. From plants, madder plant provide algerine, that is reddish yellow in color. Ananthocetes provide anatine, that is yellow orange in color. From mineral origin, ferric oxide provide yellow or red color, and titanium dioxide provide white color. Synthetic coloring agents are relatively less expensive with superior coloring properties. They are easy to manufacture, completely blend with formulation in very small amount. It doesn't confer undesirable taste to food and drugs. Title 21 CFR Parts 74, 81 and 82 describe the specification, use and restrictions of all the approved synthetic colorants. Certified colorants are of two types, soluble dyes and lake pigments. Water-soluble dyes are available in different physical forms such as granules, powders, liquid dispersants and paste. These are obtained from intermediates which are derived from petrochemicals. The stability problem when subjected to heat and light and also dust problem arise in powdered dyes. The recommended physical form is granular form. However, in case of lake pigment, these are insoluble pigments obtained via the adsorption process of metal salts of dye on the base of alumina hydrate. It possesses attributes such as stability when subjected to heat and light, relative opacity, and can also be used in dry form. It is also suitable for coloring, oils and liquid formulations. Flavoring agents generally consist of aroma molecules that is incorporated up to a strength of 10% and carrier about 10%, 90%. The physical form of the flavor depends on the carrier material selected. Dried lemon extract and cinnamon powder is supplied as dried flavor, and liquid kind of flavor supplied as tinctures or essential oils. Liquid flavors are generally used owing to their faster dispersibility into the substrate due to their volatile nature. A strong correlation also exists between the taste and the chemical structure of the flavor as suggested. See, for sour taste, due to hydrogen ions are imparted by acid, phenols and gum, therefore we feel sour taste. For salty, due to presence of anion and cations. Bitter taste we feel because of high molecular weight salts. Sweet taste we feel due to ester bonds in aroma molecules. Meaty or earthy taste we feel due to presence of thiol group. Flavoring agents. Flavoring agents could be natural, could be artificial, and could be the combination of natural and artificial both. The first part under discussion is natural flavors. These can be extracted from their respective natural source by the method of extrusion, distillation, or solvent extraction. These are unstable in nature and unpredictable in quality due to seasonal variations. Various flavor, their source, and allowable amount in parts per million is given in the table prescribed. The first flavor is anise oil. Its source is anise pimpinella anisum. Allowable amount is 3000 ppm. Second agent as flavor is cardamom oil. Its source is cardamom, that is Elateria cardamomum. Its allowable amount is 5 to 50 ppm. Flavor wild cherry bark extract. Source is wild cherry, that is Prunus serotina. Its allowable amount is 50 to 800 ppm. Next agent is lemon petite grain oil. Its source is lemon, that is Citrus limonum. Its allowable amount is 1 to 35 ppm. Next flavor is lemon extract. It is also obtained from Citrus limonum, but its permissible limit is 1000 to 10,000 parts per million. Essential oil of orange. It is obtained from orange, that is Citrus aurantium. It is permitted up to 500 ppm. Peppermint oil. It is obtained from Mentha piperita and its allowable limit is 8000 ppm. Artificial flavors. Mixtures of aroma chemicals which are combined in appropriate ratios to emulate the natural flavor. These flavors are more stable and are less prone to changes due to raw material. These also provide greater consistency. Natural and artificial combination. This is the combination of natural and artificial flavors which are added to increase the flavor balance. Small change in chain length have a significant impact on flavor type. Alteration in formulation conditions such as pH or temperature may also pose a serious challenge in flavor quality assessment. For example, a small change in chain length from alkyl benzoate to valerate changes the flavor from cherry to pineapple. Individual flavor consists of three classes. First one is impact compounds, main constituent of flavor having a distinctive aroma similar to the flavor. For example, vanillin of vanilla beans. Contributory compounds, it contributes to the increase the complexity and identity of specified flavor. And the last category is differential compounds that provides distinguishing characteristics to the individual specified flavor. Sweeteners we'll discuss now. These are the requisite component of a liquid and chewable dosage form and for those formulation which contains bitter drugs. Sweeteners such as sucrose, glucose, sorbitol and glycerin are hygroscopic in nature and thus not used in solid dosage form. Mannitol, basically used for oral medications as it is less hygroscopic and also exhibit negative heat of solution, hence gives a cooling sensation in the mouth. Liquid glucose, obtained by incomplete hydrolysis of starch, is also used for liquid preparation. Artificial sweetening agents has also been discussed over here. So, the artificial sweetener, the first part is saccharin. Its sweetening power is 500 times. It has got unpleasant aftertaste and its sodium salt form is more palatable. Its possible adverse effects could be carcinogenicity due to the formation of cyclohexylamine on ingestion. The second agent is sodium cyclamate. It is 30 times more sweeter than sucrose. It is least potent and heat stable too. It is also reported to be carcinogenic. Aspartame, that is 200 times more sweeter. It has no aftertaste. It is unstable in solution. The possible adverse effects are angioedema and urticaria. Next agent is sucralose, that is 600 times more sweeter than sucrose. It is heat stable and stable at different pH range, and it produces some gastric troubles. Another agent is acesulfame K, that is 200 times more sweeter. It is used concomitantly with aspartame to enhance sweetness and is also heat stable. But possible adverse effect associated includes nausea, headache, visual disturbances, and mental confusion. Under the category of stabilizers, preservatives prevent or inhibit the growth of microorganisms, avoiding the spoilage of dosage form. It is crucial for multi-dose containers too. Combination of preservatives act synergistically to increase accessibility to the target, preventing each other's inactivation, and may also act at separate molecular targets. We will now discuss preservatives with their known incompatibilities. The first agent is benzalkonium chloride, that is incompatible with citrate and methyl cellulose. Benzoic acid is incompatible with alkalis, heavy metals, and kaolins. Benzyl alcohol is incompatible with oxidizing agent, non-ionic surfactants, and methyl cellulose. Butyl paraben is incompatible with non-ionic surfactants and plastics. Cetrimide is incompatible with metals, non-ionic and ionic surfactants. Cresol is incompatible with non-ionic surfactants. Methylparaben is incompatible with sorbitol, non-ionic surfactants and some plastics. Phenol is incompatible with albumin and gelatin. Phenyl mercuric nitrate is incompatible with amino acids, aluminum, rubbers and halides. Sodium benzoate is incompatible with gelatin, quaternary compounds, non-ionic surfactants and calcium salt. Dimersal is incompatible with proteins, sodium chloride solution, rubber and some plastics too. Dovisil 200 is incompatible with strong oxidizing or reducing agents. We will now discuss preservative efficacy. Minimum inhibitory concentration of preservative is required to prevent the microbial growth. It is generally estimated using experimentally determined parameters. Using direct dialysis method, ultracentrifuge technique, and high-level inocular challenge test as defined in USP 20. Microbiologic quality guidelines set by the Cosmetic, Toiletry and Fragrance Association Incorporation. For this particular part, baby product must contain 5 microgram per gram or ml. Product use about the eye, not more than 500 microgram per gram or ml. Oral products, not more than 1000 microgram per gram or per ml. All other products, not more than 1000 microgram per gram or per ml. This is the guideline provided by the authorities to use preservative in controlled content. We will now discuss preservative efficacy. Minimum inhibitory concentration of preservative is required to prevent the microbial growth. It is generally estimated using experimentally determined parameters. Using direct dialysis method, ultracentrifuge technique, and high-level inocular challenge test as defined in USP 20. Microbiologic quality guidelines set by the Cosmetic, Toiletry and Fragrance Association Incorporation. For this particular part, baby product must contain 5 microgram per gram or ml. Product use about the eye, not more than 500 microgram per gram or ml. Oral products, not more than 1000 microgram per gram or per ml. All other products, not more than 1000 microgram per gram or per ml. This is the guideline provided by the authorities to use preservative in controlled content. Antioxidants are substances used to inhibit the oxidation when a pharmaceutical formulation may deteriorate by oxidative process. Generally, there are 3 types of antioxidant. First one is true antioxidant, second is reducing agent, and third one is antioxidant synergists. Now, commonly used antioxidants will be discussed. The first antioxidant is BHA, that is butylated hydroxyanisole. It's used in effective concentration of 0.01% weight by volume. It is also used in oil systems to prevent oxidation of fats and oils, and is frequently used in combination with BHT or citric acid. Second agent is BHT, that is butylated hydroxytoluene. It is also used in concentration of 0.01% weight by volume. It prevents oxidation of fats and oils and enhance color stability. Another agent is EDTA, that is used in effective concentration of 0.005 to 0.01% weight by volume, often used in combination with other antimicrobial preservatives and other antioxidants based on their synergy. Another agent is ascorbic acid, that is used in concentration of 0.01 to 0% weight by volume. Its aqueous solution, especially alkaline, are readily degraded on exposure to air or light and are catalyzed by copper and iron. Maximum stability occurs at pH 5.4. Next agent is alpha tocopherol. Its effective concentration is 0.05 to 0.1% weight by volume. Incompatible with peroxides and metal ions, especially iron and copper. May be absorbed into plastic. It protects it from light and oxygen during storage. Another agent is propyl gallate, that is used in concentration of 0.02 to 0.01% weight by volume, prevents auto-oxidation of oils and peroxide formation in ether, synergistic effects with other antioxidants such as BHA. Buffers are the compounds that maintain the pH level of the product. It is important when a drug has been solubilized using the pH effect. Buffer capacity is maximal at a pH that equals its pKa value. Buffer capacity increases proportionally with increasing buffer concentration. Buffer salts can either increase or decrease the solubility of organic compounds in water, that is through salting in or salted out. Buffers such as acetate and imidazole should be avoided since they may sublime or evaporate during lyophilization process. Here we will find acetate, citrate and carbonate buffer provide a pH range of 3 to 6. Phosphate buffer provide a pH range of 6 to 8. Tris hydroxymethane aminomethane provides a pH value of 9 to 11. Cryoprotectant and lyoprotectants are another category of excipients. Freeze drying generate many stresses that could destabilize colloidal suspension of nanoparticles, that is, in the form of aggregation or irreversible fusion. Cryoprotectants generally protect product from freezing stress and provide stability upon storage. Its mechanism includes vitrify at a specific temperature denoted at Tg, immobilizing the particles within a glassy matrix. And second mechanism is particle isolation hypothesis. Now lyoprotectants. They protect product from drying stress, and the mechanism involved is water replacement hypothesis. Cryoprotectant and lyoprotectants are another category of excipients. Freeze drying generate many stresses that could destabilize colloidal suspension of nanoparticles, that is, in the form of aggregation or irreversible fusion. Cryoprotectants generally protect product from freezing stress and provide stability upon storage. Its mechanism includes vitrify at a specific temperature denoted at Tg, immobilizing the particles within a glassy matrix. And second mechanism is particle isolation hypothesis. Now lyoprotectants. They protect product from drying stress, and the mechanism involved is water replacement hypothesis. Excipient selection is a very important criteria. So we must identify excipient functionalities needed for a dosage form. We have to make a list of excipient for each desired function. We have to determine most appropriate excipient to be used with API, and a final excipient selected should be kept. And then experimental excipient compatibility studies are to be performed. Final excipient selection should include name of approved suppliers, identity of the dosage forms where the excipient has been used, functionality the excipient provides to the dosage form, excipient use label in the dosage form, number of years the supplier has been providing the excipient, confidential disclosure agreement, price, manufacturing capacity, minimum order quantity or lead time, packaging available, quality assurance system and GMP conformance, audit findings, and source, that is site of manufacture. From the discussion of current module, it can be concluded that excipients are an integral component of every dosage form. Excipients can be categorized into several categories. Organoleptic agents and stabilizers are used in almost all the dosage forms. Selection of appropriate excipient with desired functionalities is crucial for proper functioning of dosage form. Thanks a lot.